Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Hello everyone, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Super happy you're here. I hope that you're healthy and secure. And eyelash in the glasses. Aren't glasses a pain? They are for me. Oops. I forgot. I don't know, I have this habit after I'm done chanting or gongyo or whatever. I have this habit of taking these off. Or, you know, because I'm using them with my hands instead of wearing them like I do. But I like to have them touching my skin, being close to me. Just kind of our karma story, or, yeah, karma, altered karma as we chant. Anyway, the beads is a whole nother subject. I just like having them on me. I wanted to clarify something in case I haven't clarified it enough. We talk about this duality in Buddhism a lot, and as we're reading the Onko Kikigaki, the ideology, I guess, if you will, the way of thinking about samsara being one existence and enlightened being a different existence. Those aren't incorrect statements. However, I want to make sure you understand that there are not two different, distinct places. All right? That we exist in this samsaric physical universe, you and I, and the only difference that, the significant difference that Buddhist practice makes or accomplishes is not to alter the universe we're in. The alteration all happens in perception, in the mind of you and I. So it's simply a matter of the same old physically, but definitely not the same old mentally. Our mental lens of perceiving, understanding, living amongst, within the physical self and universe is altered by the way we see it. I remember when I first started practicing, an analogy was offered of a bag of bricks in a pathway for a baby that's still crawling, hasn't gotten to where it can walk around. And you can see this in babies when they're crawling around the house. They're first starting to investigate. When they run into an obstacle, they end up just falling down or sitting down if they're starting to walk. It's like that completely takes them out of their motion, their desire to move. And they'll sit there and they'll either cry or pout or whatever. It's like, that's all it took. One little obstacle. They may not even see it. It may be just a low table that they run into with their heads, and then they sit and, it's over, I can't move anymore. Why? And when that child grows up to be a teenager or whatever, a young adult, that it's simply a matter of grabbing the bag and moving it and then go on their way. So this was used as an analogy to obstacles, but certainly it's an obstacle that we live in a world normally, in our samsaric human cognition, that presents us with this vast array of physical instantiations. And we invest in those physical instantiations with identity, with a comparative knowledge of self, that whole self thing, right? And that gets in our way of simply enjoying being within, and through this physical existence, because that's what it is. Instead, we have all these emotional tendrils and investments of identity in every little thing. And we do it instantly, right? It's like that bag of bricks. It keeps us from our sense of joy and amazement. Every little thing is like another little rock placed on the balance of, am I fully joyful and understanding the true nature of everything as being transient and wonderful to partake of without all the tendrils of emotions and stress and anxiety about them? Or, every little pebble, am I more weighed down and obfuscated from joy and miserable at times because of the sheer weight of the existence of everything? So Buddhism is like the maximal attitude adjustment, right? It's like, stop stressing about all this stuff. It's just the flow of life. It's ever changing. And if you change your mind, then it's not something to stress about. It's just another aspect of the physical universe. It doesn't affect your identity. It doesn't affect your preciousness. See, because that's where all our stress and our anxieties comes from. It's like little dings in the perfect envisioned paint job of our self. And these little scratches and dings and cracks in the windshield and so forth is what we perceive happening as we identify with stuff, with physical existence. Physical. So I just wanted to be clear that we're not talking about two different lands or two different places, or they're just mental states. Buddhism is all about the mind. You know, we have to constantly remind ourselves of that. Another reminder, since I'm on the reminder track, we have some new followers, new members. Thank you. Namo Myo Renge-kyo. Thank you for clicking and subscribing. And as a result, there's always new questions that all of us have heard before. But it's nice to reinvestigate, you know, these questions, because we all had them and will have them, about the personages on the mandala. What's all that scribble about? What's represented there? And I say all of this because there are other questions related to that one that are documented and well documented and answered on our free website at threefoldlotus.com. So again, threefoldlotus.com is quite a vast resource site. There's all sorts of teachings of Buddhism and around Buddhism there. Certainly, if you scroll down from that big header image, you'll see a button that says Core Study Materials. And that will get you to a page that has just, I think, 60 or more links with statements on each button that says something like Why Daimoku, or Gohanzon personages, or the 5 factors, or the 10 worlds. These are typical subjects, keywords that people have questions about when we start Buddhism. Even if you've been practicing for years, sometimes it's like, why do we do that? And we find we've never investigated fully what the three realm, or the 3,000 realms are, or the three existences, or the bodies of Buddha, that kind of thing. And there are answers free to you. Just click on the button, and you'll get in most cases, a PDF, which is cool because then you can download it, you can print it out, you can keep it in your notes, or you can just read it online. But I like the PDF form because it allows us to, I like to hang on to things so I can continually refer to them, make notes on the paper, that kind of thing. So use it. Use the threefoldlotus.com site and see if the questions to your answer, and there may be questions there you hadn't really thought about researching, but there they are. So you can start amassing your knowledge of this practice. So that's a very good resource, and please use it. And then, of course, on this channel, first of all, what does it look like? Let me show you. That's the threefoldlotus.com website header. And so if you scroll down from that, you'll see all these links and so on and so forth. Also, links on that page, a whole section of the podcasts that you can download, the oral podcasts, with a constantly revising library of the latest, 5 or 10 podcasts. You can scroll through it or use it as a link to go to the site proper so that you can join and get regular notifications of whenever I put up a new video, I put up a new audio for that video, so the podcasts stay in sync with the channel. And that's another way that you can get information. Other than that, let's see. I need to make another scene. So, yes, on this channel, under our header on this video channel on YouTube, if you go to the channel, not for each video, but if you click on the little picture there, it'll take you to the channel. There is a little magnifying glass underneath the image there at the end of, where it says about and playlists and videos and all of that. At the end of that, on the to your right, there's a little search magnifying glass, and you can write words in there like daimoku or chanting or gongyo or part A, part B, part C, that kind of thing. And what you'll get is a subset of videos, that a whole list of them, that contain that keyword, either in the title or in the description, that kind of thing. And so you can quickly find videos. I mean, we've got some, I think we're about 600 videos on this channel. So it's hard to sift through all that. That's why I like you to use the playlists. There's a playlist for Nichiren Gosho. There's a playlist for Lotus lectures for all of the chapters of the Lotus Sutra. There's playlists on the perfection of wisdom. Actually, there's two. I'm going to have to figure out how to coalesce those two. If any of you know, please give me a shout out, either in the comments or email me. I need to get around to those things. I never seem to have enough time. But I just want you to know how much of a resource there is here to answer all of your questions. The motive of all of these videos and the website and the podcast is to help you perfect and strengthen your practice. So use it. And barring that, if you just can't figure it out, or for whatever reason, I'll do the work for you. You can email me or put in the comments, what's up with this? And if I've already gone through that at depth in some videos or on the threefoldlotus.com site, I'll just plug some links in there for you so that you can either download your own PDF and answer your question much better than I could in an email, right? And so somehow we're going to get your practice sailing along, right? It's difficult enough to look inward and figure out what our mind is doing without being short of reference material. That's my attitude. So that's why I'm here. Okay, now let's get into it today. That took a good 14 minutes of our video. So, and we're sailing along. Looks good. We're not losing any frames. So that's happiness. We are in the midst of the Kikigaku, right? So, moving on from the lectures of Nichiren as recorded by Niko, that's with 1K, Niko. Quote, mounting this jeweled vehicle, they directly arrive at the place of enlightenment, end quote. So, right off the bat, this jeweled vehicle arriving at the place of enlightenment is a discussion of that treasure tower analogy. And I've done, and you can research this on the site now, you can put in treasure tower in the search criteria, and you will get videos that I've talked about this treasure tower, which in some instances we say is Namo Myoho Renge Kyo on the mandala, but in actual fact, it is our enlightened mind that is the treasure tower. From an enlightened perspective, everything becomes amazing and joyful. And isn't that a treasure? The tower being, reference to our samsaric existence when we make skyscrapers or offerings or totems. Human beings have always tended to make vertical towers of everything from totem poles, right? Native Americans to stele and, look at the heads at Easter Island or any, pyramids, for crying out loud. We love to go up as a sign of importance and a deep, profound recognition of some kind of value. This is what we humans do. So a treasure tower makes sense, right? And this is representative of our Buddhahood, our Buddha-ness. So there it is on the mandala, captured as Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, the most vertical tower of enlightenment within the Dharma, the teachings of Shakyamuni, all surrounding that tower. And when we invoke it, we are it. We invoke our Buddha-ness. So mounting this jeweled vehicle, right, they directly arrive at the place of enlightenment. So that demystify that wonderfully poetic line. Notes on that, our teacher said, and now this is Niko's writing, this sutra passage clarifies that the worldly passions of us living beings are precisely enlightenment, and that our birth and death are precisely nirvana. Not that a birth is nirvana and a death is nirvana, but this cycle of moment-to-moment existence. If we perceive it differently, if we don't perceive it as a birth, human, suffering, death, see, that's our samsaric physicality. If we perceive it as just a sine wave of our momentum, our life energy passing along, and we see that energy, that Buddha-ness, that Myoho Renge Kyo, well then, that very knowledge, that perception of that opportunity is enlightenment. It is nirvana. It is a release. What is nirvana? A release from the sufferings, the stresses, the anxieties of physical existence. So if we perceive differently our physical life as a manifestations of our kinetic, our momentum of energy, of life, we cease to be attached to all the anxieties about it. We simply participate in it. That is joyful. That is amazing. You see? As for the reason, Chuan 5 of the Wen Chu reads, Because the cause does not change, one directly arrives. So this perception of birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, everything being smacking you in your experience, right? In the physical world, everything is a sort of a surprise happening to you. Rather than the life happening to you, we shift our perspective to life happening for us, of us, within and without, outside of us. It's all the same. We are life. Life isn't happening to us, it's happening for us. That's easy to say, but conceptualizing it is difficult. It makes sense? This passage of commentary is saying, in essence, that the heart of the pre-Lotus Sutra teachings is to abandon the worldly passions and loathe birth and death, seeking enlightenment and nirvana apart from them. This is why all the earlier teachings, though they are the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha, are solely preparatory. And to practice those teachings today is incorrect. It's not only is it incorrect, it prevents us from our Buddha-ness, our Buddhahood, because they weren't meant to accomplish this shift in mind. But the intent of the Lotus Sutra is that the worldly passions, the physical world, are precisely enlightenment, and that birth and death are precisely nirvana. It's just a difference of perception, and that difference is everything. Directly, quote unquote, and precisely, quote unquote, here have the same meaning. And that's a reference to our chanting the Daimoku. It happens, we invoke it. It happens instantaneously. You should realize that the dwelling place of Nichiren and his followers who chant Namo Myoho Renge Kyo is precisely the land of tranquil light, which is a reference to the sutras, right? Or the lotus. Thus, mounting this jeweled vehicle, chanting to this mandala of Gohonzon, our treasure tower, in no time at all, we directly arrive at the stage of the ultimate fruit of wondrous awakening, Myogaku. This is called directly arriving at the place of enlightenment, which is what I explained at the beginning here. Mean that one herein fulfills the 42 stages. The 42 stages are a reference of sutra about attaining Buddhahood, obviously. This single word, directly, means that hell is precisely the land of tranquil light, which is again a reference to that story in the Lotus. That the realm of hungry ghosts is precisely the land of tranquil light. The dwelling of one who practices the Lotus Sutra, whether in the mountains, the valleys, or the wide plains, is the place indicated by directly arriving at the place of enlightenment. Once again, this effort is made to break thinking from physical, like, where do you live? You know, am I in a bad place? We say this all the time, right? I'm at a bad place in my life. What do you mean a bad place? Well, I'm steeped in debt, or I just broke up, or it's the death of a loved one, or so on and so forth. It doesn't matter. I'm not trivializing emotions and, devastation, but all of that is precipitated by our attachments to things, thingifying, right? I mean, it may sound callous to say, and I don't mean it that way, but even if your dog dies, it doesn't change your enlightenment. Pets die, animals die, people die every day. And although from a Buddhist sense, what's truly sad about that, truly to be lamented, is if those living entities never found Myoho Renge Kyo. That's lamentable. But I will die, you will die. We have found Myoho Renge Kyo. We can experience our Buddha-ness. This is what this life is for us to experience beyond this physical clutter what life actually is. Knowing that, experiencing that, is the ultimate fulfillment. And the rest of the time we're alive here, we can look at in one of two ways. Well, I've chanted, I've felt the tingling sensations and the visions and the sensations of Buddha-ness. Okay, I'm done, I'm out of here, right? That would be akin to the thinking of early Buddhist teachings. It's very unfulfilling. It's fulfilling, but just personally, it's not as profound as it could possibly be. It's not complete. It's certainly not perfect. It's just another experience. This is why the Lotus is so important in Buddhist teachings. Because not only can we experience that thrill of enlightenment, but then we can course in this mundane, samsaric life with that enlightenment, thereby not only changing the physical world in our own mind for our own experience, but influencing that very same world as a part, like a finger, of our own existence. And other people, people we cherish, people we love, people we don't even know, will be affected, influenced by our existence in this samsaric world, coursing in this samsaric world with this state of mind. This is what a bodhisattva is. And in point of fact, is that not what Nichiren did? Our example. He stayed in it. He could have decided. He could have been beheaded at Tatsunokuchi. He could have decided to kill himself at Sado. Well, I know the truth. Screw everybody else. But that's not full enlightenment. Coursing in life in this opportunity, affecting and influencing everything in it, including others, the feedback loop that's created with that, the helping others understand how to attain that. Have you ever tried to teach anybody anything? I don't care if it's teaching a child how to tie their shoelace. There is an amazing sense of reward when the student demonstrates that they've understood and can actualize the teaching you offered. There's a sense of welling up. You might say pride, but I don't want to use that word because that's a selfish thing. The amazing reward of watching a student of anything, like I said, tying a shoelace, let alone Buddhist teachings, when you see them get it, that's far larger experience than just me, just you. That's the bodhisattva benefit. That's the levels of bodhisattva we're trying to reach. Because in doing that, we will attain a sense of life that's far greater than just our solitary existence. We are not solitary beings by the very nature of the process of life. This entire universe is an experience for us. This is the amazing thing about Buddhist practice, is that our identity is blown apart from the little tiny world of physicality and owning stuff to every phenomena that we are a part of, that is a part of us. We can't even conceive of that until we start to open our Buddha mind. And then it becomes real and expansive. This is our goal, right? As taught in the Lotus. So let's go a little further. Wow. This is very interesting to me because a lot of what I've tried to explicate and describe, as I just did, about this mandala, about the treasure tower, about the meaning of those things, I've done many videos about this. As I'm reading these notes from, and again, you know, whether or not academically these are proven to be the words of Nichiren, or not even that, the words of Nichiren as noted down by his top scholars, setting that argument aside, I am reading things in a way that I've not heard it said, or I've felt compelled to say on my own from studying Nichiren's Gosho, the Lotus Sutras, on and on. And I'm seeing a lot of the ways I've, my own words, in other words, reflected in these notes. It's very exciting for me. So I don't know how you're being affected by this, but it's extremely validating. All right, let's go on. The place of enlightenment is the ultimate land of tranquil light. Therefore, mounting, quote unquote, of mounting the jeweled vehicle refers to the practitioners of the Lotus Sutra. In terms of this parable chapter, it refers to the four great voice hearers of intermediate capacity. In general, it refers to all living beings. You and I included, I would think. Now, in the final Dharma age, it indicates Nichiren and his followers. The vehicle, quote unquote, in the phrase jeweled vehicle, is the great white ox cart, which is Myoho Renge Kyo. Thus, mounting, quote unquote, indicates those who ride the vehicle, quote unquote, that which is ridden. The jeweled vehicle is the lotus blossom. Shakyamuni, many jewels, and all the other Buddhas mount this jeweled vehicle. All Buddhahood is this Myoho Renge Kyo. This is expounded again in the Devadatta chapter, where it says, if, quote, if they are born in the presence of a Buddha, they will be born by transformation on a lotus blossom, end quote. Right? So when we chant, we actualize, we invoke our Buddha-ness. Going on, the two Buddhas, Shakyamuni and many jewels, are our own mind. Drop the mic. I'll say it again. The two Buddhas, Shakyamuni and many jewels, right? The two Buddhas at the top of the treasure tower, on flanking the Namo Myoho Renge Kyo characters in the middle of the mandala. He's not talking about the mandala, but he's talking about the practice. The two Buddhas, Shakyamuni and many jewels, are our own mind. To express the attainment of Buddhahood on encountering the Lotus Sutra, that is one's own mind, the two Buddhas, Shakyamuni and many jewels, sit side by side, manifesting the reality of, quote, mounting the jeweled vehicle. They directly arrive at the place of enlightenment, end quote. This vehicle is a cart The cart indicates the lotus blossom. The wonderful Dharma, Myoho, that precedes the lotus blossom, Renge, in the sutra's title, indicates our birth and death, and also the two Buddhas. Arrive, quote unquote, in the phrase directly arrive, is not the arriving entailed in going from here to there. Arrive, quote unquote, means that the dwelling place of the believer in the lotus is precisely the land of tranquil light. Man, this is exactly what we're doing. I'm going to end on that today because that is, without a doubt, if you don't understand, if you're just starting out and you don't understand why we chant Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, why we recite the Hoben and the Juro chapter of the Lotus Sutra, this is why. This, in just a couple of paragraphs, this is the teaching for us, for this latter age. It's, I haven't read it more succinctly said that simply by focusing on this image of the treasure tower, which is our own mind, we instantiate all of the teachings about what these things represent. All these teachings are about states of mind. And they all lead to the one land of tranquil light. What is the land of tranquil light? It is your experience in this samsaric existence, this physical form of the very foundations, the very nature of the process of life, which by its very nature is unattached. It's more than an observer. You're experiencing everything in this physical world, this universe, as palpable and yet unaffected, unattached by it, simply being within it. It's the difference between a hot summer's day sitting by a wonderful pool of glassy water at the hotel of your life and feeling the heat of the sun and the dry wind, and you're cooking in the radiation, and you may like that, but then to walk into that wonderful body of water and feel refreshed and nurtured and cooled, right? Walk by that pool or swim in that pool. Your experience of all of it, the pool, the differentiation of the pool from not the pool, all of it, you are enlightened, awakened to that being in the pool rather than being outside the pool. Your perceptions are still of the same stuff, but your experience is different, right? Not the greatest analogy, but hopefully that helps illustrate. When we chant, we enter that pool. Nothing goes away, nothing is annihilated. It's just our perception of everything changes. Yeah? All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to download the podcasts if they're helpful to you. Don't forget the Threefold Lotus Kwoon, right? I'll show it again. That website, it's all there for you. Tons of information there. And don't forget to use the search on this channel for keywords. Make this stuff work for you. It's your practice. It's your Buddhahood. You know? Don't wait. And, for those of you who donate, are able to support this channel, we all are greatly indebted to you. Thank you. And don't forget, like, subscribe, share, all that YouTube stuff. But it genuinely helps this channel, and It helps us grow. It helps us spread Buddhism. It's a shoju act. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one, okay? Bye for now. And